So, of course, Connor, everybody is asking, chomping at the bit. They got to know right now, what are my opinions on the new Kendrick Lamar album?
The new thing that's caught your attention.
Yeah.
Because I've seen you on Twitter talk about it. I think I can guess what you have to say about it.
Go ahead.
It's good. Right? I guess I hit the money.
Objectively, yes, it is good.
Objectively, so
I'm still listening to it. Every time I've listened to it like 4 or 5 times now. And every time I come away feeling something different. Sometimes I'm hot on it, sometimes I'm not. This last listen I had to has been the best one I've had so far, where I'm the highest on it so far. Overall, I think it's really well put together. Kendrick's pen is still amazing. You know, there's a reason he's the first rapper to win a Pulitzer Prize. Yeah, he's still a really great writer. There are incredible emotional high points and low points, and there's moments that are like impactful enough to bring you to tears emotionally. However, I don't think there's a lot of replay value in this album. There's not, like, it's a song ends and I very rarely feel the need to rewind that track. Whether it's a banger track or whether it's like an emotional concept track or anything, I never feel like I need to experience the individual track again. And there's not too many songs throughout the entire project that I want to hear outside of the context of the album. But how I also am not feeling drawn to go listen to the entire album either, even though it's masterfully put together. You know, production's great, beats are experimental, and it's a Kendrick album, so you never know what you're gonna get because he makes an effort to change his style every album, which is really cool and something that I've always really enjoyed about him. And I don't think he's like adopted a new style that he shouldn't have. I just feel like he's dipped a little too far in his artistic bag, and we've lost some of that musicality. I saw a take online that said, I would rather read this album than listen to it. And I kind of get what they're saying when they say, like, it kind of makes sense. I'm like, yeah, I think I would too.
Yeah. So if anything, it's great poetry, is basically what you're saying. And it's enough to just read on its own, which is pretty impressive. All things considered, even if you're not so
I think that's a testament to his ability as a writer. Yeah. Like, he's like, every time he's on it, like, you cue in. When he's talking his shit, like, you are like, I am listening to every word. What do you got to say, bro? Because the way you have constructed this verse, or, you know, what is it called? Sonata?
Sonata? Sonata is like
a poem where it starts with an S that my brain is failing to grab right now. But
Sonata.
Like, I cue in for that and I listen to it, and I think that says a lot. But I look back at his other works and I go, yeah, I was bumping those albums for 3 weeks straight. Like, you couldn't get me off of those albums. Like, I was in it. I don't know if I'm going to be listening to this album in 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll find out. But as of right now, good. Just not connecting with me, not drawing me in.
Right. But who knows? That could change also down the line once time passes.
It could. I've seen other people have similar takes to Kendrick albums before, where they were like, hey, it took a while for an album to grow on me from him. Like, To Pimp a Butterfly is my favorite album from him. I love the funk. I love the jazz. I love tracks like King Kunta, where he's on there talking his shit. And then I love tracks like Mama, where, you know, he's preaching, you know, character, like, or upstanding character traits, and how to conduct yourself in a positive way. I think of tracks like How Much a Dollar Cost and Mortal Man and I, which I love all of those songs. And then I come to this album and I go, okay, yeah, that same penmanship is there, but it's just not like we're just being a little too self-indulgent, maybe. I don't know. I was also looking. There's a really good Twitter account called Hip Hop by the Numbers, where they break down a lot of sales figures and a lot of like Billboard Hot 100, like you've been on this thing for that long or stuff. But whenever a big project comes out, they always break down different statistics on the content in the album. And like, for example, like the percentage of, if we were to take another rapper like J. Cole, another mainstream pop rapper that is taken seriously, the percentage of bars of him being humble has steadily increased from project to project.
Oh, okay.
So the deeper in his career he's got, the more humble he's actually become. Kendrick, the deeper in his career he's gotten, according to this Twitter account, the more hurt he seems to be in. He seems to be in more and more pain, emotional pain and mental pain, the deeper he gets into his career. The 2 albums before this were in the 40s, like 40% of the bars were concerning his personal issues. This one is 80%.
Yeah.
Like, he's going through it. Which is something I noted on the last album. I was like, hey man, is anybody checking up on Kendrick? He seems sad. He seems really sad. And this one, I'm sitting here, I'm like, this motherfucker needs therapy right now. And he talks about that on the album, about how he's going to therapy and doing these things. I'm like, but yeah, you need it, bro. You very clearly need it. Anyways, Connor, that's 6 minutes of Kendrick talk. That's not why people are here.
But that's a good thing for you. You don't.
I got that off.
What other outlet do you have other than this show?
Anyways, let's get to the show. Let's drop some sense on them. What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 94. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host, Connor Elliott. Say hello to the people, Connor.
Howdy.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know, every week, Monday, 8 a.m. Central Time, youtube.com/2pennygamescast, and mainstream podcast services of your choice, me and Connor here sit down and we give you the new news concerning the video game industry. We come to you each with 2 topics, 2 pennies, if you will, and we give you our 2 cents on them. But if just hearing us talk about video games isn't enough, you want to see some gamers have some true gaming moments, well, hop on over to twitch.tv/2pennygames every Tuesday, 2 p.m. Central Time, for a little show we put on called Hype. It's me and my good buddy Phil. Hype, have you ever played? HYEP, in which one of us shows the other one a video game that they've never played before. Last week, Phil finished off Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus, and I am currently making my way through Crash Bandicoot 2 Into the Nexus, I think the subtitle is called. So we're going to be continuing that this week, maybe touching on some Sly 2. Who knows? I got to talk to Phil about it. Schedule is getting a little complicated this week. TBD. Also, worth noting, Phil's entire first playthrough of Metal Gear Solid 3, my favorite video game of all time, is up on youtube.com/2pennygamescast right now. You can watch it in its entirety. There's a whole playlist there for you. Please go check that out. And keep an eye out eventually for when me and Phil sit down and record the review for Sly Cooper. But that's it for the news, or for the housekeeping. Let's get right into the news. Let's go with my first penny of the day. Connor, listeners of the show know that when important stuff is going on, stuff that concerns the people, we put the toys that are video games to the side, and we address that front and center. This week, PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan had some bullshit coming out of his fucking mouth. Anyways, so we're pulling a VGC article from Jordan Midler. PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan's abortion rights comments allegedly upset staff, according to report. PlayStation employees are reportedly upset after comments made about abortion rights by PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan. According to Bloomberg, the executive urged staff to, quote, respect differences of opinions on the topic. It's claimed that this was followed by 5 detailed paragraphs about his 2 cats' birthday. The email, allegedly seen by Bloomberg, reportedly addresses the recent leak of a draft of the U.S. Supreme Court opinion, which suggests that it intended to overturn Roe v. Wade, which legalized abortion in the United States. Ryan reportedly went on to say that the company's is, quote, multifaceted and diverse, holding many different points of view. He wrote that, quote, "We owe it to each other and to PlayStation's millions of users to respect differences of opinion among everyone in our internal and external communities." He continued, quote, "Respect does not equal agreement, but it is fundamental to who we are as a company and as a valued global brand." And then a quote from Jason Schreier, who wrote the Bloomberg article. "PlayStation boss Jim Ryan sent an email today asking his staff to quote, respect differences of opinions on abortion rights. Then he wrote 5 paragraphs about his 2 cats' birthdays, their habits, and their desires to get a dog. People are not thrilled." Jim Ryan's email, seen by Bloomberg News, does not take a stance on Roe v. Wade or abortion rights, but does declare that, quote, "Dogs really are man's best friend. They know their place and perform useful functions like biting burglars and chasing balls that you throw for them." According to an internal conversation also allegedly seen by Bloomberg, several employees at PlayStation have expressed dissatisfaction and upset at the tone of the email. According to the report, some felt that their rights were, quote, disrespected or trivialized by the email's tone. Abortion was made legal across the United States after a landmark legal ruling in 1973, which is often referred to as Roe v. Wade. However, a leaked document claimed that the U.S. Supreme Court, the nation's most senior legal body, is now in favor of overturning that right. If that happens, abortion instantly becomes illegal in 22 U.S. states. A decision is expected in late June or early July. In the games industry, many companies felt compelled to comment on this issue. Bungie, the Destiny developer acquired by Sony early this year, called the decision, quote, "a direct attack on human rights" in a post last week. To get it out of the way, yes, the overturning of Roe versus Wade is a direct attack on individuals' rights. And it bothers me so much how conservatives wave the flag of pro-life, but then don't care about people's lives. They don't care about these children who are now being forced to be born. They don't care what happens to them. They don't care about the systems that they end up in, whether it's a faulty adoption system, which is a fucking mess in this country, or they end up in some underprivileged household that can't afford or provide for them. And they don't care about the mothers of these children who may or may not have severe physical repercussions due to this pregnancy and to this birth, many of which could die from it because they are not built for it. I have a friend who is on birth control, or is on a very specific type of birth control. Now, Connor, as you and I both know, no birth control is 100% effective. Mm-hmm. If she happens to get pregnant, that fetus will drop into her fallopian tubes and kill her.
Yeah.
And the child will likely not survive either. So, for what fucking reason are we waving the flag of pro-life if this is all? If in truth you don't care about people's lives?
And it should also be noted that, you know, the medical issue that you just talked about, it has in the past claimed people's lives, and abortions weren't conducted because it was illegal, and it was decided that they didn't want to, you know, end a child's life to save the mother if it could possibly go through successfully. You know, it's happened in the past, which is why it needs to exist. It claims people's lives, and it in and of itself is, if it is outlawed, is going to lead to more problems, because it's not going to actually stop abortions from happening wholesale. People are just going to do it. They're going to get injured as a result of it. Babies may not even survive the ordeal. Maybe not survive. I don't know why I brought babies. That was a different point. Anyway,
the women, the pregnant women may not survive.
May not survive. And at the end of the day, I mean, you know, people are going to be, as you said before, they're going into possibly underprivileged households, adoption centers. You know,
we're not setting up people for success here. Now, you brought up an excellent point there. The banning of abortion doesn't stop abortion; it stops safe abortions. I think, in general, abortion as a topic is a conversation handled too lightly in American culture. I feel like it should be taken more seriously. But me as a man who cannot get pregnant, opt to be silent and let the women figure it out, which is why it's important to have representation in your government bodies and why it shouldn't be overrun with elderly white men who are out of touch. I'm gonna shut the fuck up, and I'm gonna let the women figure out what's right and wrong when it concerns a women's issue.
It's a sensitive topic overall that doesn't really have it's one of the harder conversations to have because one side is going to look at it and see it as killing babies.
I had a conversation with a couple at my bar this last week. I'm a bartender, and they were hardcore Trumpers and I didn't start this conversation. By the way, they brought it to me. And they just kept yelling at me about how it's killing babies. And I just kept replying, okay, but it's also killing the women who have lives and people who care about them and so forth. So like, this is a double-edged sword that you guys are not, you're not taking into account all the variables. You're just stuck on this one little thing. And what happens to that child after birth? That could be worse than death.
It's hard. So for someone at PlayStation to even talk about it in the first place, especially with generally companies are abortion itself is popular. Most people want it. Most people are not against it. So generally, if you're going to err on the side of being pro women's
the right
rights,
to have an abortion, specifically,
you're going to get more of a positive response than a negative response in positions like game companies, because generally, a lot of the
games industry leans very left.
It does lean left, so it's going to err on the side of arguing for women's rights. So maybe if you're saying something other than that, it's a stupid move.
So putting a pin in the conversation about abortion, because that's not what this podcast is about. Specifically, Jim Ryan's comments here, I find concerning because your freshly acquired studio Bungie, even though Bungie still operates pretty independently of PlayStation, so it seems to just be kind of like a sort of a resource deal of sorts, is very much like they're out here. They're out in the streets. They're out, they're making changes. They're dropping petitions. They're raising money. They're on social media fighting people who are, arguing the other way or so forth. Like, they are out there in some really bold and great ways. This feels like Jim Ryan hedging bets here. And to me, if you're just going to do the play both sides argument, but then not say anything fruitful and then spend 5 paragraphs wasting time talking about your fucking cats, and in some weird allegory to how a dog should know its place.
Yeah, which also raised people's eyebrows, because it's a little bit weird thing to just randomly say.
Yeah, you may as well have just not said anything at all. And I think, as you know, I'm a big fan and follower of the Kinda Funny crowd. Janet Garcia, who's on Kinda Funny and a couple of other websites, went on their PS I Love You XOXO podcast and applied her 2 cents, and I recommend everybody go. They broke it out to TikTok, to Twitter, all of this thing. And I think she very poignantly laid out the whole issue where essentially everybody go watch that, listen to her, don't listen to me. But it was essentially like, dude, if you're not adding anything to the conversation, or if you're actively hurting the people who work for you by playing this both sides or, doing whatever you're doing here, then just shut the fuck up. Like, it would have been better if you just said nothing. Like, now you've said something and you've upset your staff. You've made them feel unsafe and unsupported. And on top of that, like, if you're willing to have this type of conversation, what other types of conversations are you going to have? I don't recall PlayStation being very loud during the Black Lives Matter movement. I remember a few things. A PlayStation 4 theme, cool. But I remember a lot of talk from Insomniac running around, putting it in the game, making sure it was loud and clear. Hey, Spider-Man means Black Lives Matter, period. Like, that meant something to those people. And what you're saying here actively tells the people who work for you and make you your millions of dollars a year that you don't care about them. Jim Ryan, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. We stick to video games. Don't go anywhere else, please.
No, I'm not a fan of that argument.
No?
No, I'm not. Not the. That's a shut up and dribble thing. I'm not a fan of that.
Of Jim Ryan? You think he's going to have some kind of poignant thing
of what you just said of stick to video games.
Oh.
That's effectively telling them to, remember when the Fox News correspondent told LeBron to shut up and dribble? It's important that LeBron speaks on issues that matter to his community.
But Jim Ryan's not doing that.
He's not doing that, but he's actively not taking a stance. So if you're going to take a stance, and the market will dictate what happens from there, but you're going to do this fucking, there's good people on both sides. Like, it's like fucking ridiculous. No, there's not good people on both sides. Like, there's people who care about people, and then there's people who care about capitalism and money and how many more poor people can we monetize their suffering on, And at the same time that this happens, there's a baby formula shortage that is run by 3 companies. All of the baby formula in the United States is run by 3 companies. And you know why there's a baby formula shortage? Because they didn't think it was profitable enough to invest in it.
Babies aren't profitable. Saw that. Yeah. Saw that from an analyst.
So are you really pro-life? Do you really care about people? Or is there something else going on here? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anyways, very frustrating, very annoying. And it irritates me so much that what my current schedule is at work, and I'm just busy right now. I can't go out and protest.
Yeah.
Pissed off. Anyways, but this is why I'm doing it here, so that, I can do something at least. I can talk on the internet like an idiot and not, change anything. Anyways, Connor, I think we've said all we need to say on that.
Yeah.
So, moving on. Second topic, your first penny of the day, Connor. EA is splitting up with FIFA. We're pulling a Eurogame article by Tom Phillips, Eurogamer Newscast. What's next for EA and FIFA? This week on the Eurogamer Newscast, we're talking... Oh, that's not what I fucking need. We're talking FIFA, or from next year, EA Sports FC. The breakup of FIFA and EA has sparked numerous headlines this week, as both sides have claimed the deal is good for them. On EA's part, it has said freedom from the FIFA organization will allow it to do far more with its football game. As for FIFA, it has said its brand is the thing that matters, and it'll be fine without EA. Indeed, to quote FIFA president Gianni Infantino, quote, the constant is the FIFA name, and it will remain forever and remain the best. So there's that. But behind all the bluster, okay, they're still talking about their fucking podcast. Cool. So basically, FIFA was like, hey, EA, you're not really doing anything for us. FIFA matters more than the game. And EA goes, okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Believe that. We'll just keep making the same soccer game.
Yeah.
We're going to be okay.
The FIFA brand, as important as it is, doesn't really matter to the sales of the game.
I would argue the video game contribution to FIFA is the most important thing about the FIFA brand right now. FIFA also an incredibly corrupt organization that,
greedy, a lot of underhanded practices.
A lot of underhand deals, a lot of misery conducted by FIFA, and I think honestly this just helps EA's brand more than FIFA thinks it does.
Yeah, it goes the other way than what they think.
As opposed to what happens to I'm sorry to cut you off. As opposed to what happens to FIFA as a brand in terms of video games, I don't know. They'll find some developer willing to take it on, and probably won't be able to make a soccer game up to the quality of EA because it's EA. And then EA, what are they calling it now? EA Sports FC. Yeah, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine.
The name like doesn't matter
because EA has the marketing dollars. So maybe next year, so we get one more FIFA this year or next year, whatever it is, and then the one after that, maybe a sales dip, but the one after that, they're going to be fine. And FIFA traditionally makes EA a lot of money, so I'm sure they're going to spend a lot of money on marketing to make it very clear that this is the sports game, this is the soccer game you want now. So
there's not much to say about it beyond that. It was really amicable split. It wasn't like there was
FIFA,
any
I don't think you're making the
controversy.
right choice here, but okay,
Yeah.
keep going. Do you, dog?
But who cares about FIFA?
I also
Oh,
love in their statement. It was a written statement, and they put FIFA. The constant is the FIFA name, and it will remain forever and remain the best. And the best was in all caps. It was a written statement.
FIFA seems like they probably like to jerk themselves off. So
I
I
think
don't really.
maybe just a little bit, you know? Just a little bit from President Infantino, whatever his name is.
Does FIFA try to appear way too regal whenever they do anything? They're above a lot more than they think they are.
Dog, you're soccer.
Yeah.
You're soccer. Like at the end of the day, you know, the NFL has a lot of problems, but the NFL is the NFL at the end of the day. Like all of it can go away. We don't need football, you know. And guys, guess what? We don't need soccer. Granted, soccer's on a much bigger stage than football, than American football is.
Oh yeah.
So, okay, sure. You know what? More power to you, FIFA. I guess, sure. Connor. Moving on to the next topic of the day. Oh, now I've got to do math because now my time codes are fucked up. So I think that's about 25 minutes in. Sure, let's go there. Connor, third topic. Something I brought to the table because I want to. It's not nearly important. There's definitely more important stories this week, but I wanted to talk about it. Jedi Fallen Order sequel is called Star Wars Jedi Survivor, it's claimed.
Ooh.
A VGC article by Jordan Midler. VentureBeat reporter Jeff Grubb made the claim during his premium giant bomb show Grub Snacks it's called Jedi Survivor. Grubb teased that he was aware of the title of the sequel, and after a member of the chat guessed the subtitle Survivor, Grubb replied, "Star Wars Jedi Survivor. You got it. You nailed it. Well done. That's the name." Grubb didn't elaborate beyond this point. This is the latest piece of information on the upcoming game from Grubb, who claimed earlier in the year that the game was coming to current generation consoles only. Quote, Star Wars Jedi 2 is going to be new gen only, where it's PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and then, of course, PC. One of the reasons they're going to be able to do that is because it's not coming out until 2023. The game is for sure now not coming out until 2023. EA officially announced a sequel to Jedi Fallen Order in January, along with 2 other Star Wars projects in development at Fallen Order development studio Respawn Entertainment. According to Grubb, EA and Respawn have previously been targeting a 2022 release, but that won't happen now. I also saw Grubb comment saying it's coming in February. We'll see if that's true. That's probably the truth now. You know, who knows? And as we lead into what was previously E3 season and is now just video game reveal season, Summer Game Fest season. I don't know.
We have yet to see its final form.
You know, we've yet to see its final form. We're in this weird little limbo state where we don't know what to call the season anymore. EA Play, or did they retire the EA Play? I don't even remember what's happening anymore.
Who cares about EA Play, though? Let's be honest.
Wherever EA is going to do their news, probably Summer Games Fest at some point. I imagine we're going to get the full reveal and the full trailer, cinematic, all this nonsense and stuff with some gameplay coming later in the year after that, is what I imagine. Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I think is a fine name. It's fine. A little generic, sure, but...
I thought you'd be harsher on it. I thought you would have some kind of bigger issue with it.
This is the same franchise that has a movie called Attack of the Clones.
That's cool.
That is not a cool name.
That's cool.
That is not a cool name.
That's like 1940s pulp bad movie.
There's a movie called Rise of the Skywalker.
Rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah, right?
That was not good. Well, you know? I said Attack of the Clones.
But I also think, I think that the name Survivor, I think, makes a lot of sense for Cal Kestis' journey and where he is right now. We saw the fall of the Order. We saw how that affected him. And now it's Jedi Survivor. How does a Jedi survive in the Age of the Empire? He's got no resources. He's being hunted by the Inquisitors. And Darth Vader is now aware of his existence. Spoilers for Jedi Fallen Order, which came out 3 years ago. So, you know. It was touched on, you know, whenever. I imagine we talked about it. It's going to be next gen only. I think that's good. I think this one I'm hoping this one is going to be, and I imagine with the way that EA is running their Star Wars deals now, with Respawn taking the lead on all of them and so forth, I imagine this one's going to be a banger, and they know it's going to be a banger.
I have high hopes for this one. But higher hopes than I actually had for the first game.
Yeah.
Now that I've played it, and
The first game has problems.
yeah, exactly, kinks to work out, but it leaves on an end where it's very investing to know what happens next.
An okay foundation in terms of Star Wars IP for that type of video game.
Yeah.
Some improvements. Obviously, I want the game to run better because the Fallen Order did not run well at all.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping for better level design, more interesting side content to do.
I would even want maybe more stylish gameplay. Because you're a Jedi. And
It is a little simple.
Yeah,
It's a little simple. But narratively, he's like a simple, like he didn't complete his training type stuff. So
That's
yeah,
true.
they're like that. So like, some like growth in power would be nice. But would that fit the From Software formula of like a Soulsborne type thing? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
If maybe they'll lean more into that kind of style. Maybe they'll be a little bit more of a regular action adventure game. You know, who really knows how much they want to change it up, or to keep it the same. It all depends how well they do it, whatever they do. So,
what if it's just a game where Darth Vader's chasing you? And like, if you spend too long on a planet, Vader comes,
oh, you gotta run.
and there's no beating Vader, so you got to get the fuck out of there.
That'd actually be a pretty cool. That'd actually be a very interesting mechanic if they ended up
Right?
doing
It's
it,
like,
yeah.
hey, we've been here too long. We gotta go.
Yeah.
Like you've caused too much of a ruckus.
That's one of the things I bet it would go into is
Maybe add
Jedi
some,
can't find a home.
Maybe add some stealth mechanics to make it last long to where you can last a little longer on the planet without having to worry about Vader coming.
Or maybe, and that can even apply to just regular enemies. So yeah, if they did that, that'd be cool. But who knows? That's very specific.
And very specific. Who knows? Who knows? Lots of ideas. Yeah, sure, the title's generic, but I think it's going to lead to... I see the reveal trailer now, where it's just this rising action. Things are getting more intense. You know, we leave Cal in a precarious situation. Cut to black. Jedi survivor. Makes sense to me. Cool. Connor, how do you feel?
Kind of the same way as you. Sounds generic, but I mean,
Sure.
it's not a bad name.
No,
I mean,
by any
it
means.
could have been stupid,
It could have been stupid. Could have been
Yeah.
really stupid.
and
But-
it'll just prepare you for what the game's going to be about.
Yeah.
It's kind of what a title should do.
Yeah.
Sequel to a title, especially.
Absolutely. So, moving on to our final topic of the day, and something a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. Bethesda's delayed a few games. So, this is coming straight from the Bethesda Twitter, where they posted the image that you're seeing on screen now. Quote, "We've made the decision to delay the launches of Redfall and Starfield to the first half of 2023. The teams at Arcane Austin, Redfall, and Bethesda Game Studios, Starfield, have incredible ambitions for their games, and we want to ensure that you receive the best, most polished versions of them. We want to thank everyone for their excitement for Redfall and Starfield. That energy is a huge part of what inspires all of us every day and drives our own excitement for what we are creating. We can't wait to share our first deep dive into the gameplay for both Redfall and Starfield soon. Thank you for your support." Disappointing, but I don't think anybody's shocked by this.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising, especially for me. You thought it was not going to happen this year. Starfall specifically.
Starfield, yeah, I didn't even know. I didn't know Redfall was happening this year.
Yeah, they barely showed any of it. And they
As far as I know, they haven't
give
shown any
details.
gameplay of anything, but they haven't for Starfield
trailer,
either.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's been about the same.
Jump the gun a little bit. Probably see some during the Summer Games Fest or sometime during this.
I would
next
imagine
couple
so.
months.
I would imagine so. Well, remember Xbox has their showcase in June.
Ah, yes,
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
So that's probably where we're going to see a lot of Starfield and probably like some quick Redfall stuff. Something to just get us actually excited about it. Disappointing that we're not getting it this year. I think further, cementing in everybody's brains that Elden Ring is probably game of the year. Only competition now is Ragnarok, and we'll see about that.
It honestly could go both ways if we're debating about what's the game of the year. But there hasn't been much announced. It seems like we're just getting delays, if anything.
We might be looking at an empty fall,
Which honestly, I don't really mind all that much. I got a lot of backlog of games that I want to get through.
I do too. This was a heavy spring season.
It was,
yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't mind some time to double back to games like Horizon Forbidden West and Triangle Strategy and
I still gotta kill Chaos.
Get more acquainted with those games. I would, I guess, maybe like to touch Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
Stranger, maybe, who knows? Probably not.
I gotta win on my Catherine dedication thing that I've done of playing it when I have free time. I'm still up to that challenge. Remember that was the thing?
Oh, you haven't done it yet, though.
Yeah,
I thought you
want
were
to.
telling me that you've been doing it. I was like, we just had a pre-show conversation where you said you've been playing.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Spoiler. But back to the
this.
Redfall.
Unfortunate, sure. Take your time. Bethesda Game Studios specifically needs a win.
I want you to have a win. I want more Bethesda from the old days, where I'm always excited to hear what they have next to say. They've obviously let their fans down, let the gaming community down for exciting new releases and information. People want Elder Scrolls, but this is all we've got in the future. So,
I also think a new IP would be good for them.
Yeah,
they've been recycling Elder Scrolls and Fallout for so long now that aren't we a little bit tired of it, guys? Just a little bit.
Apparently not.
Elder Scrolls not, but Fallout is a tired horse and needs to be, given some time before it comes back into the limelight.
Admittedly, I don't think they're going to. It seems like they've kind of put the nail in the coffin for Fallout for now. Come back to it later. 76
was damaging to that brand.
Yeah.
Granted, I know 76 now has its fans, but
that's not enough.
No,
especially years after the release of it.
Yeah. That was messy.
Yeah.
Redfall. Sure. I'll wait. Arcane is one of the best studios around right now in terms of design, level design specifically. I never played Prey, but both the Dishonored games and Deathloop were masterclasses in design. Even though Deathloop did have its shortcomings for me, I didn't think it was the masterpiece that everyone was touting it to be. But I did love that game for what it was. And this is the same team that was doing Prey, which also gets a lot of love from the people who played it, but definitely the lower known game of the series of games. But yeah, I'm whatever Arcane wants to do, I'm down for. It being a co-op first-person shooter makes me a little nervous, but because I prefer just the world building that Arcane does for their games and how unique they all are and how intricate their level design is. But if you can somehow still bring that in and make me feel or get me excited about it, sure, I'm down in some type of Left 4 Dead-esque way. I don't know. We'll find out. But as for right now, yeah, sure, I'm not in any rush to get more information on that game. Whenever you guys are ready is when you're ready.
That should always be the standard, and it's good that they're going along with that for now. Don't show us more than you need to.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's no benefit to it.
There's no benefit to it. Your game will be fine regardless. Yeah. You don't need the long tail. You don't need us to be up on every piece of detail for years and years and years. Games like Starfield are kind of for that. Our big, massive, huge cultural event games, your Cyberpunk 2077s, your Witcher 3s, your Uncharted 4s and Last of Us's and stuff like that. Yeah, okay. Have those be announced and, we've been know about them forever. But, Arcane doesn't need that treatment.
No.
You
do your trailer and then say, hey, a couple months the game is out. And
exactly.
then be you do that when you're ready. Not when you want us to be excited for it. Because as long as you do it far out enough, a couple months, people are going to be able to generate hype, and that might even help it because people don't forget about it so quickly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or they don't feel, a lot of games, you overindulge us. Deathloop had too many showings.
Yeah.
So by the time Deathloop came out, it was popular and it popped off, but there was a bit of conversation leading into it of hey man, I'm sick of hearing about Deathloop. Stop talking to me about Deathloop. Just give me the game,
Yeah.
There's a balance. You have to know what you're selling, And I blame that on PlayStation. And I honestly, I don't even think we would even know about Redfall right now if it wasn't for the fact that Xbox just acquired them. And they were like, no, we need to announce that you guys are working on something for us because
gotta have payoff.
We need to, But it is what it is. Connor, that is it for the news.
The news is news.
The news is the news is news. And so now we are in our beloved segment called What We've Been Playing. Connor, what have you been playing, mate?
Elden Ring.
How's it going?
It's going amazing. I only had one new revelation to kind of say. Oh yeah, I never talked about it beforehand, but I always thought it was a cool feature of a Souls game is the ability to respec attributes. It gets to a point in the game where you can just do that and completely change builds, which I recently had a use for just to get one spell that would have seriously helped me out. Because I started fighting Melania, the famous boss who's ridiculously hard.
Yeah.
She's bullshit. So, still fighting her, doing other things to level up.
You heard about this dude, the dude who's like, he's hopping into people's games. He's like, let me solo her. He just crossed 1,000 Melania kills.
Yeah, which, once you get the system down, I can understand it, but not with my strength built down.
Why would you do that? He's just spending his time jumping into people's games going, hey, I got it, and then doing it.
Well, because he himself died, like, I think it was like in the 90 amount of times, and he just kept trying over.
Christ.
And he beat her, and now he's just knows how to beat her really well. Knows all her weaknesses, knows her moveset inside and out, and he has a build for it as well, so he just always wins. Seems to win a lot.
Lovely.
Yeah. But I'm wanting to get done with that soon, and then being able to move on to Chaos Killing, because I have a...
You do need to kill some Chaos, Connor.
Itching for it.
You're itching for some Chaos killing. Connor!
I'm guessing you had something big and new.
I've done it, Connor!
Uh-huh.
I've beaten my first From Software game.
Oh, yeah, you didn't beat it last time.
No, I didn't. I beat it this week. Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I believe last week I was stuck on the final boss.
Yeah, you were.
If I remember. And I beat it a few days later. It felt good.
Yeah,
Felt good.
He's a good, satisfying boss to kill.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's tough. He's tough. And that obviously unlocked New Game Plus, which I haven't dived into. It unlocked a secondary mode, which I think was released after launch, in which you sort of go through a gauntlet of bosses. It's a boss rush mode. And I'm kind of working my way through those right now because after beating the game, you actually unlock an extra skin for Sekiro, and then every one of those there's 3 gauntlets, and after beating each one, you get an extra skin.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh.
I've unlocked 2 of the gauntlets.
Shit.
I believe the 3rd is probably unlocked once you beat the Demon of Hate, which I haven't. So I'm just kind of working my way through the first one, in which the first one consists of that first real boss, the dude on the horse, Lady Butterfly, and then the Genichiro fight. But the Genichiro fight is harder.
Oh.
Yeah, he's got extra moves. He's got new powers and abilities, and he's tough. He's hard.
Stuck on him at the moment.
Yeah. It's literally like I'm getting through Horse Guy and Butterfly real quick. They're barely touching me. And then I get to him, and I'm like, fucking Christ. Like, he kills me in 30 seconds. Yeah. Like, it's not even a fight. I've gotten close to beating him twice, and then just fell apart. Just fell apart right at the end. Yeah, you know how it is sometimes.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So how are you expecting to... Is that part of the platinum?
No.
No?
Just something I'm doing.
You want to do it?
Just something I'm doing. Yeah. You know? Having a good time doing it. You know? I do intend to platinum this game.
Yeah.
Once I'm probably just gonna do this one gauntlet, and then I'm gonna do research of what I can do left, that isn't the Demon of Hate, and then I'm gonna do a New Game Plus, which I know makes the game harder, which will make Demon of Hate harder, but it'll give me the opportunity to go back and fight some of those mini bosses that I've missed out on, and grow my power even more, and unlock some skill trees and further increase my attack power and stuff like that. So then, ideally, by the time I get to the Demon of Hate again, he'll be easier.
Yeah, he's he's tough.
He's very tough. There's
a tactic. I don't know what it is, but I heard there's a tactic. I remember a while ago hearing of a way to beat him more easily. Might have to look that up.
Yeah, I looked up a few guides, which is first times in a long time where I've had to look up a guide for a boss fight.
Yep.
And they were like, yeah, man, you just kind of need this upgrade and that upgrade, and you do this and that and the third when he does this. And I was like, oh, well, I don't have those upgrades, and I'm very far away from getting those upgrades, and I don't feel like grinding for a bajillion hours against the same 6 dudes. So I'm just going to beat the game. So then I beat the game. Got the normal ending, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, you would have gotten it. Because the one that the special ending, the good ending, you have to go through and get these items and give it to the girl that you meet under the bridge who has the mortal blade. Remember her?
In the sacred place?
Yeah. That involves that.
I didn't do that.
Yeah.
I didn't do that. Shout out to the monkeys.
The sword monkeys?
The what?
The sword monkeys, right?
No, just the monkeys that you had to chase around. There's monkeys you get to chase. Remember that? His little puzzle boss?
Yeah.
Puzzle boss? I guess people didn't like it. I figured that out pretty quickly. People got stuck. I was seeing blog posts of man, I was stuck there for 2 hours. Didn't know what to do. And I was like, it's really not that hard, guys. The invisible guy is just running behind you the whole time. You can hear him. It's very obvious what's happening.
Yeah, I of course found that out very quickly as well.
Did you know? Yeah? Did you do what I do and accidentally ran into him?
To be honest, I don't know.
Ah.
All I do know is it took a second for me to find that out. I was like, what do I do with this guy? And then I think I just
literally,
because
it's the three you see, and I caught up and killed the third one, and then turned around and ran back really quickly and ran into the invisible one, and I was like, the fuck? And I just hit him, and I went, oh, there you go. But like, I was like, clearly there's more to this than just fighting the three monkeys and whatever. So, but that was a cute little fight.
Yeah. Before we go further, just because I feel like it should be said, now that you've beaten Sekiro, you'd like a lot of the bosses in Bloodborne.
You know what? And Connor, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at right now. This is what do I do? Do I just say, hey, I did that, cool, or do I dive into some Bloodborne? Is Bloodborne next on the list? I don't think Dark Souls is ever gonna get me.
I don't think it will. That's why I'm saying Bloodborne, because it moves a lot faster. There's tons of human-sized bosses in that game, smaller ones, and they have some of the best fights in the entire Souls series. Yeah. So I feel like you would.
Well, I'm also watching one of the Kind of Funny guys right now play through Dark Souls 1 for the first time. First of all, ugly game. It's not good looking.
Oh, I love the look of it.
The remastered one does not look good. I've seen Dark Souls 3 though, so obviously funding and all this, but you would think the remaster would look better. UI atrocious, just awful.
In Dark Souls 1?
Yeah, ugly, terrible, just ugh.
It's brutal. It's like brutalism, the architectural style, where it's just you see what you get. You see the slants. It's really broad. It's fortressy looking. Strong. That's what it is. It's
the UI.
Strong UI. Yes.
You think it's
strong, sturdy UI.
Yeah. Not just thrown together in 15 minutes.
No.
Because it looks like it was thrown together in 15 minutes.
Be that as it may, it looks like a strong 15-minute UI.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm debating on whether or not to give Bloodborne a shot. Probably not anytime soon. Probably not anytime soon. I'm fine with. Well, first of all, I want to master Sekiro.
Yeah.
I want to do it all. I really do want to do it all.
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be a lot of fun. And then, like, I'm even more likely to go back to Elden Ring first.
Than Dark Souls?
Than Bloodborne.
Oh,
probably not, though, but we'll see. I don't know, man. I just don't. It's so clunky and slow, and the combat is simple. Like, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I guess you could argue the combat in Sekiro is simple, too, but...
Strong fundamentals.
Yeah, it just works better for me. Also, all the jumping around, slingshotting yourself around, that's fun.
Yeah. Mobility is very high in that game, which I enjoy. Definitely most mobile. Maybe you'll get more mobility from the next FromSoft game, which is maybe that mech game.
Yeah, some Armored Core stuff is happening next. Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm at the point now where, like, I'll try every From Software game. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Do it when you feel like it. Don't force yourself to play Souls games, especially because even I got a little bit burnt out at the end of like Dark Souls 3 because I was like, okay, I played Bloodborne, I played Dark Souls, I just played Dark Souls 3, I had beaten 2 before Bloodborne came out. I'm tired for a second. Now Sekiro's coming out, I just want a break. And I got a break. Now I'm back.
Now I'm back.
Yes.
Sekiro, best From Software game. I'm saying it right now.
Fair enough.
I don't care what anybody says.
Fair enough. You could literally say that about any of the Souls games or Bloodborne games and whatnot.
I think everybody says that about. Well, Dark Souls 1 is an exception. People really like that first Dark Souls.
Lower on the totem pole for me.
But like, I think everything after 3 has been a hit, or I guess after Bloodborne has been a hit. So
2 is a hit. It's just a different hit.
People don't like it too.
Oh, they don't. But I enjoy it.
But I enjoy it.
I understand.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah. Well, you're a civilized gamer. There.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the Two Penny Gamescast episode 94. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Remember, you can catch us Monday, 8 a.m. Central Time, youtube.com/2pennygamescast, or mainstream podcast services of your choice. If just listening to video games is enough, you want to watch us play games, twitch.tv/2pennygames. Hype, Tuesday, 2 p.m. Central Time. Crash Bandicoot 2 this week, and then some Sly 2 next week, probably, because I just want to bang out the Sly trailer. I'm going to get to the goods.
You want Sly 2.
I want Sly 2, baby. Until next time, have a great time. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with a friend, please. We really do appreciate it. And Connor, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye.
I can't find the record button.